The galaxy knew the planet as Earth. On every star map, it carried a warning mark, Class-15 Deathworld. Most intelligent species avoided worlds like this. Class-15 meant extreme gravity, violent storms, dangerous animals, and unstable land. It meant that life, there was always one mistake away from death. Yet somehow, humans had not only survived, they had built cities. From orbit, Earth looked beautiful. Blue oceans reflected distant stars. White clouds moved slowly over green land. At first glance, it seemed peaceful, but peace was a lie. High Commander Rex of the Zarkan Empire stood inside his command bridge, staring at the holographic image of Earth. His 4 eyes studied every detail. "Confirm planetary status," he ordered. An officer replied, "Gravity is nearly double standard. Weather systems unpredictable. Magnetic storms frequent. Native predators large and aggressive." Another voice added, "Human population, approximately 8 billion. Rex tilted his head. 8 billion. On a death world. That made no sense. The Zarkan Empire had conquered hundreds of planets. They had crushed species far stronger than humans. Most races failed to survive on worlds much safer than Earth. Yet these soft creatures lived here. Rex watched a magnified image of humans walking in a city. They were small, no natural armor, no claws, no fangs. Their skin looked weak. How did they evolve here? Rex asked quietly. No one answered. The truth was simple. They had no idea. To the Zarkan, humans looked harmless. Their scans showed limited physical strength. Their ships were few compared to the Empire's massive fleets. Their weapons seemed primitive. Earth was rich in water and rare metals. It would make a perfect new colony. Rex turned toward his crew. "Begin invasion protocol. 1 fleet will be enough." The officers bowed. They believed him. On Earth, the first signs came quietly. Deep space radar stations detected unknown objects entering the solar system. Satellites adjusted their orbits. Military networks woke from long sleep. Governments across the planet received the same message within minutes. Unidentified fleet approaching Earth. There were no public alarms, no screaming headlines. World leaders met in secure rooms. Generals opened old files marked last resort. Scientists were moved underground. Emergency systems powered on. In remote deserts, hidden doors open in the sand. In frozen mountains, sealed bunkers came alive. Under oceans, silent structures rose slowly toward the surface. Humanity had prepared for this moment long ago, not because they expected aliens, but because Earth had taught them to prepare for disaster. They had faced pandemics. They had survived world wars. They had rebuilt after earthquakes, floods, and fires. They understood one simple rule: hope is good, preparation is better. Across cities, people went to work like normal. Trains ran, schools stayed open, stores sold food. But behind the scenes, something old awakened. Defense grids linked together. Early warning systems shared data. Veteran soldiers received quiet messages on personal devices. Report to nearest command center. They did not ask questions. They already knew. In orbit, the Zarkan fleet formed attack position. Dark ships blocked sunlight over parts of the planet, their weapons charged with glowing energy. Commander Rex watched calmly. "Begin planetary suppression," he said. A massive beam fired from the lead cruiser. It should have erased the coastal city. Instead, a transparent shield flashed blue, spreading across the skyline. The beam broke apart like light hitting glass. Rex blinked. "Shields?" he asked. "Yes, Commander," an officer replied, confused. Planetary defense grid active. Before Rex could respond, human satellites fired. Small metal objects accelerated to extreme speed. Railgun rounds. 3 Zarkan ships exploded almost at once. Shock rippled through the bridge. "That is impossible," someone whispered. Rex clenched his claws. Humans were not supposed to have this level of defense. More weapons fired from Earth. Missiles rose from forests. Energy cannons appeared from mountain ranges. From the ocean, enormous human carriers broke the surface, water pouring from their armored decks. They were ugly ships. Heavy, brutal, built for war. The Zarkan fleet pulled back slightly. This was not part of the plan. On the ground, people finally realized something was wrong. Phones buzzed with emergency alerts. Aircraft were grounded. Hospitals moved patients underground. Parents held their children close. But there was no mass panic. Humans did not scream. They watched the sky. Some prayed. Some prepared. Some simply waited. They had done this before, in different ways. They remembered sirens. They remembered falling buildings. They remembered loss. Fear was familiar. Commander Vrex stared at tactical displays filled with red warning symbols. Deploy ground forces, he ordered. Drop ships descended toward major cities. Zarkan soldiers prepared for easy victory. They expected broken survivors. They expected surrender. They expected weakness. Instead, something strange happened. In a ruined hospital, alien scanners detected human voices. Not cries. Not begging. Laughter. A captured Zarkan officer later reported the moment. They were injured. The building was destroyed. Yet they were laughing while carrying their wounded. He did not understand it. Neither did Vrex. Back in orbit, Earth's oceans began to move. Something massive rose from the depths. Not a ship, not a weapon. A mobile defense platform older than most nations. Built in secret. Powered by fusion. Its cannons slowly turned toward the alien fleet. Commander Vrex felt a chill run through his spine. This was no simple planet. This was a world that had learned to fight. And humanity was just getting started. The Zarkan drop ships burned through Earth's atmosphere like falling stars. They landed in cities, deserts, forests, and coastlines all at once. Commander Vrex believed speed would bring victory. Strike hard, break resistance, take control. That was how the Empire always won. But Earth did not follow galactic rules. Zarkan soldiers stepped onto human streets with heavy armor and glowing weapons. Their boots crushed broken concrete. Their scanners searched for life signs. They expected chaos. They expected crowds running in fear. Instead, the streets were mostly empty. Cars stood abandoned. Doors were locked. Windows were dark. It felt wrong. Too quiet. Then the first shots came. Not from open ground. From rooftops. From alleys. From behind burned vehicles. Human fighters moved like shadows. They did not stand in lines. They did not charge. They appeared, fired, vanished. Small teams worked together. One group distracted the aliens, while another attacked from behind. Smoke filled the air. Explosions echoed between buildings. The Zarkan were stronger. Tagir. Their armor could stop normal weapons. But humans did not use normal weapons. They used armor-piercing rounds. They used electromagnetic rifles. They used homemade bombs. They used anything they could find. Trash bins became shields. Broken glass became traps. Every street became dangerous. Every building became a threat. In one city, a Zarkan squad pushed forward toward a hospital. Their scanners showed injured humans inside. Easy capture. They kicked open the doors. What they found confused them. Humans were carrying wounded people on their backs. Doctors were still working under broken lights. Nurses moved between beds while explosions shook the walls. A human soldier fired while protecting a child. Another dragged an unconscious stranger to safety. The Zarkan hesitated. They had never seen this. Most species protected only their own kind. Humans protected everyone. That moment of confusion cost them. Hidden fighters attacked from both sides. 3 Zarkan soldiers fell. The rest retreated. Above the planet, the space battle grew worse. Human defense platforms fired nonstop. Alien ships tried to regroup, but their formation broke apart. Then something strange happened. Human cyber teams entered Zarkan systems. Navigation data vanished. Weapon locks failed. Communication channels filled with noise. Entire alien squads lost contact with command. Commander Vrex slammed his claws on the console. How are they inside our network? An officer answered quietly. They use our own satellites as relay points. Vrex felt cold. Humans were hacking mid-battle. No species had ever done that to the Empire. On Earth, civilians joined the fight in small ways. Engineers repaired damaged shields. Truck drivers delivered supplies through fire zones. Old veterans trained young volunteers in underground tunnels. People shared food, shared medical kits, shared hope. Humans did not wait for orders. They acted. This was not just a military response. It was a species response. Zarkan ground commanders began reporting losses. Urban combat was slow. Humans used narrow streets to cancel alien size advantage. They collapsed bridges. They flooded tunnels. They set false retreat paths that led into kill zones. Every victory cost the Empire more soldiers. And the humans kept coming, even injured, even exhausted. They fought with broken arms. They fought with burned skin. They fought until they physically could not stand. Alien medics studying captured humans sent shocking reports. Pain tolerance, extreme. Adrenal response, abnormal. Muscle performance under stress, far above standard. One report ended with a simple line: these beings refused to stop. Commander Vrex ordered heavier weapons. Energy strikes hit several human cities. Buildings collapsed. Fires spread. But instead of surrender, human resistance increased. More fighters appeared. More defense systems activated. It was like attacking a nest of creatures that only multiplied when harmed. A Zarkan patrol captured a human officer. They brought him aboard a cruiser for questioning. The alien interrogator asked, "Why do you resist? You cannot win." The human looked up, blood on his face, and smiled. "We already won," he said. The interrogator tilted his head. "How?" The human replied calmly. "You landed on our home." He said nothing else. Minutes later, human strike teams boarded the cruiser. They cut through hull doors. They moved in zero gravity like they had trained for years. They rescued prisoners. They sabotaged engines. They left time charges behind. The cruiser exploded after they escaped. Commander Vrex watched it happen in silence. His fleet was shrinking. His soldiers were tired. And humans were only getting started. Zarkan analysts reviewed battle footage. They noticed something terrifying. Humans learn fast. Each encounter made them better. They copied alien tactics. They adjusted weapon frequencies. They predicted troop movements. Every mistake the Empire made became a lesson for humanity. Earth was not just fighting. Earth was studying. Then came the moment that changed everything. From a damaged city, human forces launched a counterattack into orbit, not a full invasion. A message. Small human ships rammed into alien supply carriers. They did not try to escape. They destroyed fuel reserves, food storage, medical pods. Commander Vrex finally understood. Humans were cutting lifelines. They were turning the battlefield against the Empire. In a quiet moment, Vrex reviewed Earth's data again. Storm records, predator statistics, natural disaster history, war archives. He saw the pattern too late. This planet did not create peaceful beings. It created survivors, fighters, adapters. His tactical officer spoke softly. "Commander," this world trained them. Vrex closed his eyes. Yes, Earth was not just a death world. It was a training ground, and the Zarkan Empire had walked into it. Commander Vrex no longer believed this was a simple invasion. He stood on the bridge of his flagship, staring at battle reports that made no sense. Zarkan units were retreating. Human forces were advancing. That was not how this was supposed to go. The Empire had crushed stronger species with ease. Civilizations with advanced technology had fallen in days. But humans? Humans were fighting back harder with every hour. Zarkan scientists worked without rest. They studied captured human weapons. They analyzed blood samples. They reviewed combat recordings again and again. The results shocked them. Human bodies reacted strangely to injury. When wounded, their hearts beat faster. Their muscles became stronger. Their minds sharpened. Pain did not slow them. Pain pushed them forward. One alien doctor whispered. Their bodies turned suffering into fuel. Even more strange was their immune system. Any foreign material inside a human was attacked immediately. Viruses, bacteria, nanotech. The human body treated everything unknown as an enemy. Their biology itself was aggressive. Captured humans were questioned. They did not cry. They did not beg. Some were calm, some were angry, some even joked. A Zarkan interrogator asked one young human, "Why do you fight? Your cities burn." The human answered quietly, "We've rebuilt before." The interrogator tried again, "Your people are dying." The human nodded, "We've buried millions before." "Then why keep going?" The human looked up, "Because stopping means extinction." That answer was recorded and sent to Commander Vrex. He watched the video 3 times. On Earth, the war entered a new phase. Human forces stopped defending cities. They began hunting. Small strike teams moved through forests and ruins. They attacked alien patrols at night. They destroyed landing zones. They poisoned supply routes. Zarkan troops started sleeping in full armor. They jumped at every sound. Humans used drones made from farm equipment. They turned construction machines into mobile shields. They converted factories into weapon plants. Every part of society became part of the war. Children were evacuated. Elders were protected. Everyone else helped. Humanity moved like one organism. Zarkan commanders tried changing tactics. They increased bombardments. They used stronger weapons. Entire city blocks vanished. But something terrifying happened. Human resistance grew. Each destroyed area produced more fighters, more volunteers, more rage. The Empire was feeding the fire. In orbit, Commander Vrex received updated statistics. Human casualties were high, but Zarkan losses were rising faster. Much faster. Vrex called his science chief. "Explain this species," he demanded. The scientist hesitated. "Commander, humans evolved on a world that tries to kill them every day." "Explain." The scientist brought up holograms. Storms tearing cities apart. Earthquakes swallowing towns. Wildfires racing across forests. Predators hunting in darkness. This planet forces constant adaptation. The scientist continued. Humans learn to cooperate or die. They learn tools or die. They learned war long before spaceflight. Vrex studied the images. "This is normal life for them?" "Yes, Commander." Vrex felt something new. Fear. On the battlefield, Zarkan soldiers reported strange behavior. Humans would rescue wounded enemies. They shared water with prisoners. They gave medical aid to captured aliens. Then they returned to fighting without mercy. The Empire could not understand this mix of kindness and violence. Human behavior broke every military model. A captured Zarkan officer was treated in a human field hospital. His leg was gone. A human medic worked silently, stopping the bleeding. The alien asked, confused, "Why help me?" The medic answered while tightening a bandage, "Because you're hurt, but I am your enemy." The medic looked up. "You're still alive." That was all. Later, the officer was exchanged for civilians. He would never forget that moment. Meanwhile, human hackers pushed deeper into alien systems. They learned Zarkan command patterns. They predicted troop drops. They created fake signals. Entire alien battalions landed in empty zones. Human artillery waited. Precision strikes followed. The Empire began losing equipment faster than it could replace it. Commander Vrex watched a simulation of Earth combat zones. Red markers showed Zarkan forces. Blue markers showed humans. The blue markers spread like living veins. They flowed around obstacles. They surrounded targets. They adapted instantly to change. The Empire's formations looked rigid. Human movements looked organic, living. Vrex whispered to himself. They fight like their planet. Zarkan intelligence finally accessed Earth history archives. What they found horrified them. 2 world wars, nuclear weapons, global pandemics, near-extinction events, climate disasters. Humans had almost destroyed themselves many times, yet they always survived. They learned from mistakes. They built new systems. They improved. Each disaster made them harder, stronger, smarter. Earth was not a peaceful world. It was a forge. Then came the report that changed everything. Human forces had activated an ancient defense network. Satellites built decades ago. Hidden platforms buried under ice. Orbital weapons never meant to be used. They came online together. The sky over Earth glowed with new energy signatures. Commander Rex stared at the data. "This technology is older than their space program," he said. "Yes," an officer replied. "They built it while still fighting among themselves." Rex felt his chest tighten. Humans prepared for extinction while still divided. Now they were united. Zarkan strategists began to panic. Some suggested retreat. Others demanded reinforcements. The Empire sent a message to nearby fleets. A second wave was on the way. But even that might not be enough. In a ruined city, a group of human soldiers rested for 5 minutes. One cleaned his weapon. Another wrapped a bandage around her arm. A third checked messages from family. Then they stood up together. No speeches. No shouting. They moved back into the smoke. Because that was what humans did. Commander Rex finally understood the truth. Humans were not special because of their weapons. Not because of their ships. Not even because of their numbers. They were dangerous because they had been shaped by endless struggle. Earth had trained them for this. Every storm, every predator, every war, every loss. They were Deathworlders. And Deathworlders do not quit. The second Zarkan fleet entered Earth's system in tight formation. Fresh ships, fresh soldiers, fresh confidence. They believed they would finish what the first wave had failed to do. Commander Rex watched their arrival in silence. He did not feel relief. He felt dread, because now he understood something the new commanders did not. Earth was not a target. It was a trap. The Empire tried to regain control. They pushed harder from orbit. Heavy bombardment struck military zones. Human cities burned. Smoke covered continents. But the humans did not fall back. They pushed forward. Human carriers rose higher into space. Stealth ships slipped between alien patrols. Small attack groups entered enemy supply routes. Zarkan-fueled depots began exploding without warning. Communication relays went dark. Alien commanders shouted orders that never arrived. Human cyber teams had broken into their network again. The Empire's battlefield map became useless. On Earth, human factories worked day and night. Car plants became armor plants. Shipyards became weapon hubs. Even farming machines were changed into mobile barricades. Civilians did not complain. They volunteered. Old engineers returned to work. Young students learned emergency skills in underground shelters. Doctors trained non-medical workers to stop bleeding. Human society shifted completely. Everything became survival. Human pilots flew like they had nothing to lose. They dove straight through enemy fire. They used asteroids as cover. They dragged damaged ships away from battle. Sometimes they rammed alien vessels when weapons failed. Zarkan commanders could not understand this behavior. Human pilots accepted death if it meant victory. They called it duty. In orbit, the first large human counterstrike began. 3 carrier groups jumped behind the Zarkan formation. Railguns fired. Missiles swarmed. Human ships were not elegant. They were thick with armor, built to take damage. Built to keep moving even when burning. Zarkan cruisers shattered under kinetic impact. Human boarding teams followed. They cut into hulls with plasma tools. They moved through smoke-filled corridors. They rescued prisoners. They destroyed engine rooms. They left explosive charges behind. Then they escaped. The alien ships died quietly in space. Commander Rex watched his fleet shrink. He contacted one of the new fleet leaders. "Do not underestimate them," Rex warned. The other commander replied, confident. "They are still biologically weak." Rex did not argue. There was no time. On the ground, humans launched coordinated strikes. They attacked alien command centers. They flooded underground tunnels. They collapsed landing platforms. Zarkan troops began surrendering in groups. Some refused to fight. They had seen too much. They had watched humans carry wounded friends through fire. They had seen civilians throw themselves in front of children. They had seen humans fight with broken limbs. Morale collapsed. A Zarkan general demanded orbital cleansing. He wanted to wipe entire regions. Commander Rex denied the request. Too many human defense systems were active. Too many risks. Besides, something inside Rex hesitated. He had read Earth's history. Total destruction would only make humans fight harder. Human intelligence units intercepted alien communications. They learned reinforcement routes. They learned fleet schedules. They shared everything in real time. Every soldier had access to battlefield data. Every commander could see the full picture. Human war planning was open and flexible. Zarkan command was rigid, slow, hierarchical. Human forces moved before orders arrived. They trusted each other. Then came the moment that broke the Empire's confidence. Human stealth teams reached a major Zarkan logistics hub. It held food, fuel, medical supplies. The hub supported 3 fleets. The humans did not attack directly. They waited. They mapped patrol paths. They hacked internal doors. Then they struck from inside. Explosions ripped through storage bays. Fire spread in zero gravity. Emergency systems failed. The hub was lost in less than 10 minutes. Thousands of alien soldiers suddenly had no supplies. Commander Vrex closed his eyes. The humans were not fighting battles. They were killing the war. On Earth, a young human soldier asked the commander, "Why don't they quit?" The commander answered softly, "Because they don't understand us yet." What don't they understand? That we grew up on a world that never gives mercy. Alien analysts finally made a terrible discovery. Earth's gravity had shaped human muscles. Their atmosphere had shaped human lungs. Their dangerous wildlife had sharpened human reflexes. Their violent history had trained their minds. Humans were optimized for struggle. Every part of them was built to endure. Zarkan soldiers trained in safe environments. Humans trained in chaos. Commander Vrex reviewed an old Earth phrase translated by AI. "What does this mean?" he asked. An officer read the line. "Adapt or die." Vrex nodded slowly. Yes, that explained everything. The Second Fleet began retreating. Not fully, just pulling back. Human forces followed. They did not allow rest. They did not allow regrouping. They attacked supply lines again. They destroyed relay satellites. They forced the aliens to fight hungry and blind. Vrex received a final report from Ground Command. Human troops had captured a Zarkan stronghold. They raised no flags. They took no trophies. They simply moved on to the next target. Silent, focused, relentless. Vrex stood alone on the bridge. He stared at Earth turning slowly below. Clouds moved peacefully over burning cities. Oceans reflected distant stars. It looked calm, but he now knew the truth. Earth was not the battlefield. Earth was a teacher. Every human was a graduate. And the galaxy was about to learn why. The Zarkan Empire had never asked for peace before, not once in its long history. But now, the idea had entered their command chambers, whispered at first, then spoken aloud. Commander Vrex stood over a glowing star map. Red symbols marked lost ships. Yellow symbols marked damaged fleets. Blue symbols showed human advance paths. There were too many blue symbols. They were spreading. Zarkan's soldiers were tired. They had not slept properly in days. Food was running low. Medical supplies were nearly gone. Human attacks came without warning. Small strike teams appeared from shadows. Explosions destroyed transport routes. Every attempt to regroup failed. The Empire was bleeding slowly, and slowly was worse than fast. On Earth, humans did not celebrate victories. They barely spoke. They worked. Soldiers rotated out for rest only when forced. Doctors collapsed from exhaustion. Engineers repaired defense systems while missiles fell nearby. Families lived in underground shelters, sharing stories in quiet voices. Everyone knew the cost. Everyone paid it. No one complained. Alien prisoners were treated for injuries. They received food and water. Some cried in confusion. They had expected cruelty. They found calm efficiency instead. A Zarkan soldier asked a human guard, "Why are you helping us?" The guard answered, "Because the fighting doesn't erase basic decency." That sentence was recorded and sent across the Empire. It spread faster than propaganda. Commander Vrex studied battle footage of humans boarding alien ships. They moved carefully. They covered each other. They checked corners. They pulled wounded teammates to safety. Even during combat, they followed rules. They avoided civilian areas on alien vessels. They shut down reactors instead of causing chain explosions when prisoners were nearby. They fought with control, not rage. That scared Vrex more than anything. Zarkan generals demanded permission to use planet-cracking weapons. They wanted to end Earth completely. Rex refused. He remembered Earth's history. Nuclear wars had almost destroyed humanity, and still they survived. Destroying their planet would only confirm their worst fears. It would turn every human into a lifelong enemy. If any survived, the Empire would never be safe again. Meanwhile, human forces pushed into orbit. They captured damaged alien ships. They studied Zarkan technology. They improved their own weapons within days. Captured engines were reverse engineered. Shield frequencies were matched. Human scientists worked inside bunkers while bombs fell above them. They did not stop. They adapted. A Zarkan intelligence officer finally broke. He stood before Vrex and said, "Commander, we made a terrible mistake." Vrex did not answer. The officer continued, "We thought humans were weak because they look fragile." He swallowed. "But they are built from suffering. Their planet teaches them pain from birth. Every generation grows stronger." Vrex turned slowly. "Yes," he said, "I know." On Earth, a group of civilians helped carry supplies through a destroyed street. One man had lost his home. A woman had lost her brother. A teenager had burns on his arms. They moved together anyway. A passing soldier thanked them. The man replied simply, "This is our world." That was enough. The breaking point came when human forces captured a major Zarkan command carrier. It held thousands of officers, strategic data, fleet movement schedules. Human hackers accessed everything. Within hours, alien reinforcement routes were exposed. Supply convoys were intercepted. 3 battle groups were surrounded. The Empire lost control of the entire sector. Commander Vrex received the report in silence. This was no longer a contested invasion. This was a collapse. Some Zarkan units surrendered without firing. Others tried to flee. Human forces allowed escape corridors. They focused on disabling ships, not hunting survivors. They wanted the war to end, not to exterminate. This confused the Empire deeply. They had always believed victory meant destruction. Humans believed victory meant survival. Vrex ordered a full tactical withdrawal. Remaining fleets pulled back toward deep space. Human ships followed partway, then stopped. They did not chase. Earth's defense perimeter reformed. The planet stood guarded. Smoke still rose from cities. But humanity had not fallen. In a quiet room aboard his flagship, Vrex reviewed human cultural files. He watched videos of children learning, of families eating together, of people helping strangers after disasters. He saw humans crying, laughing, building, rebuilding, always rebuilding. Then he saw war footage. The same humans becoming soldiers, medics, engineers, protectors. Vrex finally understood. Humans were not warriors by nature. They were builders. But builders fight harder than conquerors because they have something to lose. A diplomatic signal arrived from Earth. Human leaders requested communication, not surrender. Dialogue. They wanted to speak. Some Zarkan advisors urged rejection. Vrex ignored them. He accepted the channel. A human representative appeared on screen. Her face showed exhaustion, but her eyes were steady. "We don't want your worlds," she said. "We don't want your empire." She paused. "But we will defend our home." Vrex nodded slowly. He believed her. Behind her, Vrex could see damaged buildings, medical teams moving, soldiers standing guard, life continuing, even after everything. Vrex responded quietly. "You are a dangerous species." The human replied, "We know." "Why?" "Because we survive." After the call ended, Vrex sat alone. He thought of Earth, of storms, of predators, of wars, of a species that refused extinction. He opened a personal log. For the record, he said, "Humans are not feared because they are violent." He paused. "They are feared because they endure." The Zarkan Empire began peace talks. The galaxy watched in shock. A Deathworld species had forced an ancient empire to stop, not through domination, through resilience. But this was not the end. Human diplomats were preparing something else, something they wanted the galaxy to see. Proof of Earth's past, proof of humanity's survival, a message for every star system. And when it arrived, everything would change. The Galactic Council chamber had never been this quiet. Representatives from over 40 species sat in glowing seats, their eyes fixed on a large holographic screen in the center of the room. Human diplomats stood calmly at one side. Commander Vrex watched from the Zarkan delegation. No weapons were drawn. No threats were spoken. Yet everyone felt the weight of history pressing down on the room. The human representative stepped forward. Her voice was steady. "We did not come to ask for power," she said. "We came to explain." With a small hand movement, the screen changed. The first image appeared. A city in ruins. Buildings broken. Smoke rising. "This," she said, "was Earth after one of our world wars." The next image showed hospitals full of sick people. Another showed burned forests. Another showed flooded towns. Another showed frozen landscapes with survivors digging through snow. "These are not alien attacks," she continued. "These are disasters from our own planet." The council shifted uneasily. Then the timeline began. Plagues that killed millions. Wars that nearly ended civilization. Asteroids that passed too close. Nuclear weapons aimed at each other. Climate events that pushed food systems to collapse. Each event was worse than the last. Each time, humans rebuilt. She pointed at the screen. Every generation of humans has faced extinction-level threats. The room stayed silent. "We did not escape them," she said. "We endured them." Commander Vrex watched closely. Now, he understood why humans fought the way they did. They were not new to loss. They were not strangers to fear. They had practiced survival for thousands of years. The screen changed again. It showed humans helping each other after earthquakes, pulling strangers from wreckage, sharing food during shortages, doctors working without rest, volunteers rebuilding homes. "We learned something important," the human said. "Alone we fail. Together we survive." Another image appeared. Human soldiers carrying wounded teammates. Firefighters running into burning buildings. Rescue workers entering collapsed tunnels. "This is what you saw during the war," she said, looking directly at Vrex. "We protect each other." Vrex felt something tighten in his chest. Yes, that was what had confused him. She continued. "Our planet taught us hard lessons. Gravity taught us strength. Storms taught us planning. Predators taught us awareness. History taught U.S. war." She paused. "And loss taught us empathy." The council members shifted again. No species present had evolved this way. Most had grown on stable worlds, gentle climates, predictable environments. They had never needed this level of resilience. The human representative folded her hands. "You call Earth a Class-15 Deathworld." She nodded once. "That is correct. But you missed something." She looked around the chamber. "Earth is not just a death world. It is a survivor world." Commander Vrex closed his eyes briefly. That was it. That was the truth. Earth was not designed for comfort. It was designed for adaptation. The screen now showed human space stations being repaired during the invasion, factories converted overnight, civilians moving supplies, scientists working in underground labs, soldiers returning to the front after medical treatment. "You thought our strength came from weapons," she said. "It does not. You thought it came from technology. It does not." She placed one hand over her chest. "It comes from here. Our refusal to quit." A council member finally spoke, a tall being with glowing skin. "Why did you not seek revenge?" it asked. "You could have chased the Empire." The human answered simply, "Because we don't fight to dominate. We fight to protect." Commander Vrex stood slowly. The chamber turned toward him. He hesitated only a moment. "I commanded the invasion," he said. Many eyes focused on him. "I believed humans were weak." He lowered his head slightly. "I was wrong." He raised his gaze again. "Humans are not feared because they are violent. They are feared because they adapt. They learn. They endure." He took a slow breath. "And when pushed, they finish." The council recorded his words. They would be taught in military academies across the galaxy. Earth was officially reclassified, not as a hostile world, not as a forbidden zone, but as Class Class-15 survivor world. Humanity was granted protection status. Trade agreements followed. Defense alliances were offered. Species that once avoided Earth now sought partnership, not out of fear alone, but respect. Back on Earth, people slowly returned to the surface. Cities were damaged. Lives were lost. But children played in streets again. Markets reopened. Builders repaired bridges. Doctors treated the last wounded. Humanity did what it always did. They moved forward. Commander Vrex later wrote his final report. It was short. It contained only one paragraph. Humans are not conquerors by nature. They are builders forced to become warriors. Their planet teaches hardship. Their history teaches resilience. Their culture teaches cooperation. Attack them and they unite. Break them and they rebuild. Try to erase them and they adapt. He paused before adding the last line. The galaxy should never forget this. Far beyond Earth, the story spread. From trade stations to military outposts. From science academies to frontier colonies. A new rule entered galactic memory. Never attack a Deathworld species, especially one that already survived its own extinction many times. And so the galaxy finally learned, humans are feared not because they seek war, but because when everything burns, when hope seems gone, when survival feels impossible, humans stand up, together, every time,